want you to listen tonight, because most of us never had good fathers who sat with us and taught us the way Bishop Jakes wants you to be taught in this conference. Much of our manhood skills were taught by men who were not men.
There is not a good man in this room who is not trying to get who you love over the road, over rough road, potholes, treachery, with substandard equipment sometimes, poor education sometimes, little opportunities sometimes didn't have a father yourself and you are still trying to get them over the road. You see, when it comes to being a man, when it comes to being a father, when it comes to being a man in leadership, I'm gonna tell you something, ladies, in case you don't know it. I know you talk about being a woman, it's hard, and I believe it. But let me tell you something, being a man ain't no joke.
I think Bishop Jakes knows what I'm talking about.
It ain't no joke. You might not read about it in your magazines that are written by women, to women, telling you 9 things a man needs, and it's so funny, all the stuff you read that your girlfriends tell you that we need. It's a women's magazine, it's a women's article, the woman wrote the story, she's telling you about us. Most generally, she don't know what she's talking about. You just spent $3.53 or $10.53, whatever they sell it for, I don't know. You just wasted that, you should have put that in the offering.
For example, the first thing that a male needs is sex. A need is a requirement necessary for function. In other words, a need is not a want. Your car does not want gasoline. Your body does not want water. I like what Paul says. Paul says, don't you be spiritual now, ladies. I'm going to fast and pray for 3 weeks. I'm going to just, what? The Bible says, don't you go and fast and pray unless you first ask, not God, but your husband. That's what the scriptures teach. And then the Bible says, and after you finish fasting, after he allows you to go and fast and pray, it says, hurry back to the bed. Why? Because Sister Mabel in the church will provide what he needs if you don't. While you out having mission, someone on a mission with your husband. Because he doesn't want it, he needs it. A need is not a want. Men do not want sex. They need sex. Why? Because the male is designed by God to be a progenerator. That means a male is always full of seed.
Because the truth of the matter, it is hard to be a man. We are filled with this juice called testosterone.
A man doesn't want sex. They need sex.
And I won't get into all the complications of testosterone, but it is both a blessing and a curse. It makes us highly competitive. It makes us want to win. It makes us feel driven. It makes us aggressive. And anytime we don't feel like we're winning, it is difficult for any man to continue to do what he thinks he doesn't do well.
You need to really study and research how unique we are before God.
So for all the naggers who are trying to change him by telling him what he doesn't do well, the more you tell him what he doesn't do well, the less inclined he wants to come home. Because men are not drawn to criticism. They are created in the likeness and image of God. We are drawn to praise. We perform the best when you tell us what we do well. If you brag on what we do well, we will do it better. If we come in with 2 bags of groceries and you talk about how strong we are, we'll throw that 3rd bag up and say, girl, this ain't nothing. I carry this bag on my toe. I'm just, we love praise. We love praise. We love praise. We're created in likeness and image of God. When you praise God, he's magnified. He swells up when you praise him. When you praise men, we become better, we become bigger, we become larger, we become stronger, we become more adept. The truth of the matter is, there's not a man in this room that doesn't have certain things in his life that he tends to want to shy away from because he is afraid that he doesn't do them well.
As a matter of fact, the best thing that's supposed to be heard by a man when he comes home is when his wife says, Daddy's home now, everything's okay. The most beautiful thing a child should say to a father is, my daddy's home now. That's what a child needs to say, and a mother needs to say about her husband. She's supposed to be able to say, my warrior in shining armor is here. My protector has arrived. He's a guard. A real man protects.
But has society put us in a dilemma? have they put us in a situation? Because, Emmett, they keep changing the game on what a good man is. They keep changing the game. I don't know, it's confusing. Have they set us up to fail? Because every 2 or 3 years they come out with a new mandate as to what is a good man.
Why would a man take a can of paint and go to a newly painted wall and deface it? He's angry at society.
It used to be if you were a good provider, you were a good man. You took care of your family, you paid the bills, you brought the money home, you were a good man. Didn't matter that Papa didn't talk. You might get a I love you every 20 years in a critical situation. Maybe on the deathbed confession, they might break down and say some grunt love. You couldn't tell whether it was love or gas because it was just a grunt. But it didn't matter. He was a good man. And if you said anything about him, your mama would slap you. She said, don't say nothing about him. He's a good man. Because back then, women didn't let kids disrespect the husband.
You go home to her children, and you've been married for 5 years, and the kids call you by your first name. They tell you, you're not my daddy. I mean, this is frightening to some men. No authority. And you can't correct them when they curse and do foolishness. You can't even correct them. There's no authority in the house. So you feel like a slave, like a dog. That's why a lot of men don't know what to do. They don't feel appreciated. They don't feel respected. They don't feel secure. Because you see, the problem is the woman don't know what she's doing to you. She needs help too, because she's destroying your masculinity.
But today, you can't just be a provider. You got to be in touch with your feelings. Listen at your inner voice. You've got to be touchable. You've got to be willing to express your emotion. And so now you're not just a provider. You don't just bring home the bacon. You got to be able to cry. But if you cry too much, you're too soft and you're wimpy. And if you don't cry at all, you're not a man. And so now most men are confused. How can I be a good man to a woman who enjoys being a good man? It's gonna get rough in here today, but we deserve a day too.
Men don't feel the power of self-confidence anymore. They don't feel the power of social roles anymore. Men don't feel the power of their masculinity anymore. That's why many of them are not sure whether they are men. How many women have you met who said to you, I don't need your car, I don't need your money, I don't need your house, I don't need nothing from you, I got everything myself?
I spent all my life being groomed to open the door for you and make sure you're okay. Call you, check on you, make sure that what you calling me for? You checking up on me? I can open up the door for myself. When you pride yourself on doing what I used to do, have you not worked me out of a job? Has society set us up to fail in that now we don't know whether to buy the dishes or wash the dishes? Has society set us up to fail because you moved into the positions we used to have and we don't have a role to play, and yet we're commanded to be on the set?
You know what made my father feel valuable? When my mother told him, thank you for bringing home food. Thank you for having a roof over our heads. Thank you for providing for the kids. That made him feel valuable. But you don't hear that no more today. So you're struggling just to feel important to your wife.
Why do you need us? Why do you need us? When was the last time you told him why you needed it? What do I bring to the table? What is it about me that makes your life better? Because if all you're good at is communicating where I fall short, don't expect me to excel, because I do not flourish in criticism. I flourish in praise. I flourish in the same thing that you give your sons. Because believe it or not, every father in here is somebody's little boy. Oh, it's quiet now.